Glaring disparities. This is another reason why some societies are corrupt. Countries of the world where there is rampant corruption are the ones where there are glaring disparities. There are islands of affluence in the midst of oceans of poverty. There are poor people and there are rich people, filthy rich people. And the difference is so huge. While on the one hand, people have luxuries of, unimaginable proportion. And on the other hand, there is a large part of the population that is not able to meet its both ends, are not even able to have proper meals per day. This obviously is what leads to criminal inclinations. There is a tendency amongst poor people to become criminal. They see that there are people who have so much of resources that they don't even know how much resources do they own. And they have no inclination whatsoever to help out the poor. And the poor are obviously in desperate need. They, their children, their dear ones. So there is a feeling of hatred. There is a feeling of animosity, jealousy against the rich people. And this leads to corruption. And corruption is both ways. The rich are getting richer because of their corrupt ways, and they don't want to do away with their corruption and richness. And the poor are corrupt because honestly they've got no choice, because they want to survive, which is their natural right. Not that all poor people are doing it only for the purpose of survival. However, the starting point of corruption in the case of many poor people is their desperate need for survival. They can see that the rich people are enjoying their lives, and the kind of impact it has, the demonstration effect that it has on the poor people causes them to feel deprived. And it really is something which causes the entire nation to go into a run for corrupt and criminal ways. Even within our religion, we know that God Almighty has said that He will not hold anyone accountable for more than her capacity. So there is a certain capacity beyond which a person is constrained, is strongly inclined to do what is wrong, what is corrupt. We know this famous incident that when there was famine in the Arabian Peninsula, Hazrat Umar, the second caliph of Muslims, he declared that the punishment for theft is not going to be implemented. The punishment of the Almighty, which was meant to be implemented on all people who would commit theft, was lifted temporarily because he knew that this punishment was to be implemented only when the needs of the common man are being met. But if those needs are not met, there was no possibility because of the lack of food, lack of resources. He declared, then those who are going to commit theft are not going to be given the punishment that is ordinarily given to those who steal, to the thieves. This in itself is an indication that poverty tends to corrupt, and more particularly poverty which can see that there are examples of affluence, of plenty of resources at the disposal of a few people. The kind of poverty, the kind of deprivation where everybody is deprived, more particularly the leaders, is not something that would lead people to corruption. We know that the example of the Prophet, may God's mercy be on him, during the battle of Ditch, the battle of Khandaq, that is called Ahzab, when they were all digging that ditch, and they were deprived of food and they were hungry for a very long time. When people came complaining to him of hunger, well, he showed his own stomach with some stones hanging, so that he could overcome his hunger. And obviously, everybody was satisfied. When the Prophet of God, the leader of the Muslims, is himself more hungry than others, then there was no inclination for them to be corrupt, to do anything wrong. But if there are some people who are enjoying their lives and others are in misery, then corruption is most likely to be the result.